Okay, good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Thompson, glad to have you on the podcast, man.
Glad to be here.
You helped me out getting this thing going too as well. So excited to get you on and let you see the finished product and kind of talk about what everything you got going on. So I'm going to give it a little paragraph read in before we get started. My guest today left a career in ministry to start his own creative business from scratch. We're going to talk about what that decision looked like, what it cost him, and what he's built on the other side of it. Tyler Thompson, welcome to the Hunter Owen Podcast, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to get into it. And you're usually on the other side of the camera, so
yes.
I'm sure this will be a little bit different for you. But before we get into your business that you got going on and everything, take me back to where you grew up. What was like life for you, and where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, born and raised. Elementary at First Pres, which you know.
Yeah. We went to elementary school together.
Yeah, and then middle school in Ridgeland at Old Town, and then high school at University Christian, or Hartfield Academy for Malone University Christian, and so and then college at Holmes, then straight into ministry from there, and then still just being a local guy.
Yeah. So you went from Jackson to Ridgeland to Flowood.
Yeah.
What was it like switching schools so frequently like that?
I think because it was I switched in fifth grade. Like after fifth grade, I think the way that it happened, it made it easier because, you know, you go from elementary into middle school, going from private school to public school. It's like a big switch, but it was just, there was grace for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just meeting new people. And then from sixth to eighth, and again, after eighth, going into high school in Flowood, it just kind of, it was pretty easy, just that transition. I think if it would have been in the middle of seventh grade or third grade, it would have been a little bit more difficult. But just because it was during those, I guess, those chapters, it just kind of helped. There was just grace in those transitions, because
that's kind of when everybody's switching to moving schools,
right,
or whatever, so everybody's new at that point.
Yeah.
What were you into when you were a kid? What kind of kid were you?
What kind of kid was I?
Yeah.
I guess just Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah.
It's a kid that played, that did yearly sports at the Y, doing baseball, soccer, things like that. Basketball, and just that routine of doing sports outside in the fall. Love being outside, huge imagination. And then I know we're going to get into it later, but even at church, just being heavily involved, trying to be a part of the ministry even while still being in it. And so just my upbringing was just one that was just surrounded by faith. And so that was everywhere you looked. So if we weren't at church, it was at home, and that's just what it looked like. Yeah.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Leonardo.
Yeah.
There's only one right answer there.
I always loved Donatello, and everybody thought I was weird, but I was always a Donatello guy.
It's all good.
So tell me about your faith and growing up in the church. Where did that come from?
It came from my dad. He served at the church. He was the worship leader at the time. So he and my mom kind of led that up, and that was great because you saw that on stage, but just as much, he was a concrete finisher full time. So he was in construction. He was on different jobs in different environments, but his faith was the same in each area. And he would be even bolder about his faith outside of the church than he was inside. And so that's something that really stood out to me. I mean, one of the simplest things of, if I was riding with him, and you know, construction doesn't always have the best language. If someone tried to or started to talk like that, he would, you know, politely ask them, "Hey, my son's in the car. Would you mind not talking like that?" That always stood out to me.
What church was he the worship leader at?
Word of Life.
Okay, so same church. So you've been at the same church your whole life?
Yes.
Was that a big church back then, or was it a little bit smaller?
Yeah, it was pretty big then as well, but it was on Highway 18.
Okay.
And then they moved over to Lakeland, and now it's even bigger with 3 campuses.
Yeah. So what was that like growing up in a church where, if your dad's a worship leader, he's kind of a pretty prominent face? So I'm sure you're a pretty well-known kid at church. What was that like?
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of he didn't need help, like making sure I stayed in line.
Everybody knew who you were and had their eye on you, right?
Right. Yeah. So it was like just and if I need to be reminded, he would. But it was fun. Just everyone was like family, knowing everyone, and everyone knowing you. And it was just amazing to me how much, how many people knew my dad and just the relationship that he had. And even when later on, we built doing that open house and just kind of seeing the pictures and seeing the people who are there, it's just like, man, you grew up with people who you feel like are like your aunts and uncles for life, basically. So it was a good time.
Did you have any idea what you wanted to be when you grew up when you were a kid?
Professional wrestler was there. Yeah. Right. No, I knew I wanted to do something in ministry. I knew I wanted to share my faith, but I also knew I wanted to create. And so writing stories and things like that, and just use like I said, big on imagination. I knew I wanted to do something with that. And then it wasn't until senior year, my pastor put a book in my hand because I was always about serving in children's ministry. And so I just kind of saw that passion there later on.
So he put a book. What book did he put in your hand?
It was by, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. It was by Ken Blanchard. Not Ken Blanchard. It was, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. They do stats and statistics on ministry.
Okay.
And it was focused on kids. And so, I'll think of the name later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. As soon as we turn the camera off.
As soon as I close the door, it's like, oh, that's the book.
You're going to get in the car.
Still have it.
Yeah. If you think of it, and if you don't think of it during this podcast, you can let me know, and we'll get rhymes to like superimpose it or something like that. Put it like
Photoshop me on the book. But it just stuck with me and just kind of ignited a passion in me for like being able to meet that need.
So you kind of mentioned your dad and your pastor. Who were some of the other people that were influential for you in that early time period of life?
Just as a kid or in middle school, of course. I mean, I don't mean to keep throwing it back, but just like because that was what life was. But just my leaders at church, like people who are over your class, things like that. The youth you look up to during that time too. I was just around my cousins a lot as well, and so. I feel like that was kind of it. Just my dad, my pastor at the time, and then just people who were in the church who were friends. So just kind of looking at their lives and being like, man, it created vision for me.
Yeah. So you said you went to Holmes.
Yes.
What brought about that decision?
I was unsure like fully what I was going to do graduating, but I knew I liked architecture, but I knew it wasn't smart to try to jump into a full degree at MSU if things changed. And so I decided to start there and got my architectural engineering degree there. And while I was there, started working part-time at the church. So as I was doing that, it was like being able to scratch that itch of being able to create systems and design and things like that, which I actually use for my dad and in other things. So that's how I ended up there.
And how long were you there for?
Holmes, 2 years. Yeah.
And then from there, you decided you wanted to go full time into ministry.
Yeah.
Tell me about that decision and how did that come about?
So I was working part time at the church, and ever since volunteering in it, the passion never stopped. Just being able to create, being able to impact kids and be able to translate just messages in the ways that they can understand. It was something that when I came on, I was doing maintenance, but I got to volunteer still. And then it went from a volunteer role to, hey, you'll get paid for time here, fifth and sixth graders, right? And so that them being my first, that I'll never forget them. But then from there, it transitioned to, okay, we're going to move you from fifth and sixth and doing maintenance to children's pastor and still doing maintenance some. And so it kind of just evolved into that. That was kind of the goal, though. Not me saying it, but it's like everyone knew it to where I'm, paying for mentorship from, other children's ministers or from, more successful children's ministers and things like that to get coaching and reading and listening to podcasts because I wanted to be the best at it. And so that's just how it came to be.
So when you say children, kind of what age range are you talking about?
So it was fifth and sixth, but first through fifth. Okay. Specifically first through fifth.
What was it about that specific age range that kind of drew you to wanting to work with them?
Just being able to communicate on multiple levels. to where, of course, whenever it's kids, you aim at the oldest kids in the room, because the younger kids are going to think it's cool. And just being able to see them get it was something that, and then being able to use by any means necessary, with safety to help them understand it. So that's what drew me to it.
Yeah. So you're pretty involved in the church full time at this point. What did you learn about people and about leadership from being in a church full time at that time?
One quote that just always stuck with me: "They don't care what you know until you know that you care." And for any organization, any team, if you take care of them, they'll take care of the people that you need help. Need their help. Like if I take care of the volunteers, I'll take care of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
If I take care of the volunteers, more volunteers will come because I'm being a good steward of it. And so that's one thing that really stood out. And then being able to know that the moments that you spend with people extend far beyond those mere moments. So a kid comes in for a weekend, and he's in a split household to where we may see him, we may not see him for a few weeks, we might not see him ever. And so it's like you have such a intentional time to be able to make an impact on them, to give them a seed, or just speak some type of life into them. And the same with adults. I mean, the ministry doesn't change, ages do, but the outcome and the goal doesn't. And so that was one big thing. It was like, whether it's an adult or an infant, like this hour during the service, we have to be intentional with it all. And we have to care for it all. So that was a big thing.
So what does it actually look like on a Sunday for you as the leader of the youth ministry or the kids ministry there?
It's early, getting there early. It's making sure everything's prepped, which you look at it during the week, and then audibles and changes, people not be able to make it, going to be there late. Just making sure the room is ready, making sure the space is ready for the volunteers, and then making sure the space is ready for the families that come in. With just getting the team ready, going over the game plan, because there's a rundown of service, just like there's a rundown of an adult service. Praying with the team, making sure everybody has some type of snack, getting them fed, fueled up, and then just going through your checklist of service. And, we got to operate in a bigger room, so we had mics, full production, stuff like that. And so just making sure everything was good to go, and then just jumping into it.
And how long were you doing that for?
I was doing, so when I first came on, I was doing maintenance, but still working with 5th and 6th graders, just about 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a long time.
Yeah.
So at what point did you go out of maintenance and just go into full time on that?
It was around, it was like, I guess 2 years into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you spent 14 years pretty much being the leader for the kids. So you saw kids come through probably first grade or even 5th grade, and then they're probably out in the working world now.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of those kids around town?
Yeah. Former coach at Coyote was one in my first 5th grade class.
Who was that?
Dominique.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's just cool to see. It's like, man,
yeah,
I've been around.
Yeah, you have been around a bit. So at what point did you kind of start thinking, I might want to do something else? As I kind of like
had passions for like, I had a need. So basically, simple as that, I went to Champs, right? And Champs used to have it where you could buy these like t-shirts in bulk, like different colors and stuff like that. And so you'd buy them, wash them, and they would shrink. So they'd be like, tank, belly shirt, crop shirts basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I'd love a shirt that didn't do this, was great quality, and had a faith message behind it, but wasn't corny or cheesy or things like that. And so kind of had a passion for creating my own clothing line. And as I was doing that, with creating a clothing line, you need media, you need branding for it. And so you got to take pictures and stuff like that. You got to get on social. And out of that, it was like, there's some other passions there. And it was like, while children's ministry is great, it's not the only outlet for that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And so there, and then when I was on staff as well, it was doing announcements, as most churches have announcements and things like that. And most churches are on social now, but getting to do the announcements, being a part of when we initially jumped into starting to do that, I would help, our media guy set that up. I can remember, our rooms had like motion sensor lights, and like the toddler rooms never the quietest to film in. So we'd like put, we'd try to cover the sensor just so we could record the video. And so just out of that, just different, being on staff, getting to try different things, that passion, it came from that.
So you kind of started doing it at work as well, and you were really, really enjoying it. And it was kind of scratching that creative itch. During that whole period at church, did you have any creative outlets outside of church?
Yeah, my clothing line.
Okay. So how old were you when you started that, or how long ago was that?
Wow, it's been a minute now. It's about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And so just
so you had been at the church for at least 10 years at that point, and decided to start your clothing line. What was it called?
Far Above. It's still around.
Is
you
it?
Just gotta release something new. But it was it's called Far Above, based off Ephesians 3:20, and just wanted to have that outlet to be able to create, because I kind of grew love for being able to draw, illustrator, things like that, and just seeing ideas. I think I became passionate about seeing ideas executed, and so that's just kind of where that came from. But then out of that, it was the clothing line.
So when you started thinking about leaving the ministry, how did you approach that decision? Did you talk it over with people, or what was going through your head at that time?
Just after, like, as time went on, as 2020 hit, and with COVID and things like that. And so when you're in ministry, it's highly recommended that you do take a sabbatical, right? A break. And so I had, 16, almost 17 years of ministry. And so in 2020, my dad passed. And so that my dad passed, and then a few months later, my dog passed, Opie, that, I brought to the gym. And so out of that, it kind of rocked me. And so from that, I wasn't in the best place. And so it came to a point where it's just like, if I know that I'm not 100% for myself, then I can't be 100% for my family. I can't be 100% for the people that I want to reach and minister to. And so that it kind of morphed out of that. And so from there, it was like, well, what are there were three common things that I'm passionate about. And, from here until Jesus comes, I want to coach, communicate, and create. And so out of that, that's where that passion came from. And it was a switch of like, okay, well, what would that look like if there was a pivot, and just stepped into it. But my first paid gig was a video for a rolled ice cream shop. Yeah. And then from there starting to help you with the podcast. And then from there I just saw grace, and I saw just God bring different opportunities to where now, we're right here, and I have a little bit better camera now and know what I'm doing, and I've been able to help people with the gifts I feel like I've been given. Yeah.
So let's go back to that 2020 period. You mentioned your dad passed, and then your dog passed. Was all that sudden, or was that something that your dad had been sick? What happened?
So he had kidney failure my ninth grade year. Senior year, he had someone donate a kidney, so he had a transplant. Wow. So from there, he had a weak immune system. So, but he had done a great job of just remaining healthy and doing what he needed to do one Sunday we had like the anniversary of the church. It was the 30-year anniversary of the church, and he used to be on the worship team, but he hadn't been since he had the kidney failure and the transplant and all those things. And so, but they asked him to open up the service. So he opens up the service, sings and everything, and gets home that next day. He's not feeling well, and so whenever anyone else is not feeling well, you know, it's, oh, just go to MEA, go to Trust Care. Well, if he's not feeling well, it's a bigger deal. So we take him to UMMC, and they're holding him, and they have to run tests. And a few days of, you know, not getting the results they want, and then 2 weeks later, I'm having a conversation with him on FaceTime, but I just get like, you know, he's not doing well. And then next day, doctor calls, and, you know.
Man.
Yeah.
As a man, you know, your dad is like your hero growing up, and I know that was an awful, awful time. Who did you lean on in that time, and how did you get through it?
I, like, looking back, I can just remember as soon as it happened, because the day before it happened, I tried to go up to the hospital and see him. And he's in ICU, and I can see him, but they won't let me in because
COVID
of protocol, right?
Yeah.
And so at that moment, you're like, I really don't care about protocol. And had I known it was that serious, but that they called me, I have to drive up there. And man, from that point on, I was like, you know, I've heard of people who lose their fathers. They look to God as their father, and it was tough, but that was kind of my first notion was to say, you know, ask God, like, you know, why? And I didn't really, there were, you know, our pastor reached out and things like that. And I have a close friend. He's my best friend. He's a missionary, but he was on staff at the time too. But honestly, after that happened, I didn't really like look to confide in anyone, because it was like, you know, because he's your dad, and nobody's gonna nobody's gonna compare to him. So I don't think I really did.
You just kind of pressed through.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like I made the internal decision that I have to be strong for everybody.
Yeah.
So
for your mom and for. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, sister, nieces.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Did you mentioned you were asking God about why that happened? Did you feel like that was kind of a first real test of your faith?
No, I knew he would tell me. Or if he didn't, I knew when the time was right he would. But walking out of the NICU with my dad's things, ICU with my dad's things, it's like, you know, God, why? And, you know, I got in my heart, he's like, he chose. And so I was like, well, you know, if he made the choice, then I can't do anything about that. And so it brought peace, you know, and later brought frustration, you know, peace, frustration, all these feelings. But that's what I got. And it wasn't a test of faith, because, like I said, I knew he was going to answer. It was like, okay, you know, you're leaning now. So
looking back on it now, and you mentioned you didn't really kind of walk through it with anybody. Is there something that you wish you would have done different, or somebody that you wish you would have talked to in that time, or what did somebody need to say to you at that time?
100%. If I could have revisited that time, I think I would have gone to therapy, because I think it gets a bad rap. I look at it as, I feel like therapy is like a seatbelt, right? You know,
I like that. I've never heard that
it's
before.
Like you don't drive without a seatbelt, or you shouldn't. But therapy just kind of that safeguard to help keep you with someone who's not emotionally tied to anything, but they can be another voice. What I would have wished somebody would have told me said to me was like, hey, take a break. That I believe in looking back now, and especially in a man's life, there are certain gauges that need to be in certain places. And so if it's like, hey, I know you feel like you can keep going, but you need to check this gauge right here. And so that's what I would have told myself. That's what I wish someone would have told me.
So do you go to counseling now?
No, I did.
You did for a period?
During the transition from being on staff to what I'm doing now, I did then. And it was like, man, if I would have just, it would have looked, maybe it would have looked different, but that's what I wish. And just in hindsight, even until this conversation, it was like, man, there was not really anybody I would have leaned into.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what we do here. We lean into it.
Right.
So then you lose your dad, and then you get kicked while you're down and lose your dog too.
Yeah.
And that just kind of shook your world up. And you were, at that point, were you thinking, you know what, it's time for me to kind of do something else or follow my passion? Do you feel like that was kind of like the catalyst to kind of get you going to start your own thing?
I do. I feel like I can only describe what I've like after the impact that me making that change has had in hindsight. So basically looking at it, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to learn all this stuff about a camera. I'm going to have to learn all this stuff about color grading. I'm going to have to learn all this stuff about videography. But ever since I've taken this step of like stepping out of the church where it was comfortable, super comfortable, to where you step into the marketplace and it's okay, sink
or swim.
Yeah. How's your faith? Anybody can have faith here, but how's your faith here? And it was just all right, guys, it's me and you. It's like you're all I have to lean on. And so taking it a day at a time, just in hindsight, looking at like the impact and the reach that I've been able to have, and it hadn't been anything of my doing at all, but just the people I've gotten to meet, places I've gotten to go, and it's just the start.
So what did the Tab and the rest of your family, what did they say whenever you came to them with the thought that I'm going to leave the ministry and start my own thing?
So they knew my family supports me 100%. And even though I, wasn't doing ministry full time, they knew and they still know that it's in me and it'll be a part of anything that I do. So they're 100% supportive.
So you still do stuff with your church still?
Not with my church right now. I do children's ministry coaching.
Okay.
So
you're coaching where you're kind of doing what people did to you when you first started off.
Yeah. So cool. I'm opening up I've started children's ministry coaching. And consulting. I co-lead a podcast co-host a podcast with my mentor.
Who is he?
Jim Weidman.
Is he from around here?
No. Well, he was born in Alabama, schooled in MC, and then he's been in various churches. And just brought tremendous growth. If Michael Jordan was a children's minister, it'd be him. So
that's pretty.
Yeah.
Where is he? What church is he at now?
Right now, he is at Conduit Church just outside of Nashville.
Okay.
And so he's doing some pretty awesome things there.
How'd you get hooked up with him initially?
The church that he was at, we went to a conference there, and so I heard him speak, and he wrote a book called Volunteers That Stick, and so just kind of reached out and he sent me a book signed, and then just kind of followed him from there. He had podcasts and things like that, and before podcasts were cool, he had CDs. So I was part of a club, and so they'd mail CDs in, and I would listen to them. I had a 20-minute drive to work and back, and I would listen to each one.
Wow.
Talking about leadership, and he'd take John Maxwell principles and flip them to you know, ministry and things like that, and so just how we got connected and been connected ever since.
And that has motivated you to kind of want to pay it forward to other people.
Yeah. There's a scripture that says, purchase wisdom and give it away for free. And so that's kind of what I want to spend the rest of my life doing.
That's awesome. All right. So let's go to the business that you're on now. Walk me through starting Thompson Creative. And what was it like getting started, and what was the goal when you decided to go out on your own?
To provide for my family.
Yeah. Make some money.
Right. Man, I say that it was to have the power to be present. Because like, you have successful men out there, but when it comes to family, it's non-existent. And so I wanted to, one, be able to say, my license plate says finished well. And so I wanted to be able to say, when I stand before God, that if he asked me, hey, did you, he's not going to ask me, did I make this much amount of money? Did I do this? Did I accomplish these things? He's like, did you steward your family? I was like, I want to be able to be in a place where I can be present with my family. I can pray with my kids in the morning. I can drop them off, or I can tuck them in and pray before they go to sleep. But they'll be able to say their dad was present, along with some other things. And then I wanted to be able to use the gifts. I was like, man, like I feel like I have a natural gift of discernment. So be able to see if something's going to work. And I hadn't been leaning into that. I didn't lean into that a lot, but then I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And so I would tell people, hey, I feel like this could be a thing, like creating videos for people. We had conversations, and we've been doing this long before it got cool. And so now it's the thing, and now it's blown up to what it is. And so it was like, okay, what does that look like? Okay, I could do this video, and then I kind of saw out of that, like even now it's like I feel like I have a gift for helping people feel comfortable on camera, and not only communicating something but helping people communicate. And so it was like that opportunity from rolled ice cream to helping clip up the podcast, and thank you for the opportunity. Shooting the crawfish event. That was my first event.
Really? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Right, but being able to picture, like, okay, we need to capture this moment, capture the beanbag throw, two people laughing and things like that. And so from there, reaching out to a realtor that I CrossFit with and be like, hey, I feel like I know you should make videos. And then her making me shooting videos with her, doing headshots and things like that, and being able to help people build is something that I'm super passionate about. And so that's the way that I used it, and that's the avenue that I, through a camera, through coaching, and through just helping release that content is the way that I do that.
You mentioned earlier the process of I got to learn all this stuff about cameras or whatever. Tell me what was going through your head at that time, because I experienced a good bit of that when I decided to do this podcast. And I'd produced the Coyote Fitness podcast myself for a while at the end, but it was just an audio podcast, and then having to bring the video aspect and like having to set up a room and figure cameras out and all that stuff. It got super overwhelming, and you came on and helped me tremendously a lot through that process, and finding some other people that could help me get it going. I wouldn't have been able to do it, but there was a point where I felt like, gosh, I'm an idiot. I can't figure any of this stuff out. I'm even using AI and I can't figure it out. I remember opening up the box and be like, I don't even know what all this stuff is. And then, after a while, you kind of get to the point where you understand it. What was that experience like for you? Like, I got to figure out all these cameras, how to shoot all this stuff, memory cards, and all that.
There's a little bit of, there's some passion of like being able to have like gear, like, and being able to have a kit of some sort to be able to create. But it was like, man, I got to. And I was thinking of, I'm kind of a visionary at heart. So I'm like, man, it has to go from this to it being great. Yeah. And you fail forward, you shoot something bad, you mess up, you don't hit record, you don't hit the, you don't get the audio right, then it happens, but you learn from experience. The best ways is what multiple people I DM'd questions about, they'll either answer you or they'll say YouTube, which both are great answers.
Yeah.
And so you kind of fail forward to where it's, you learn it. And once you learn it, it's with you. But on the other side of that is the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
But then you also realize, like, I don't have to know that. Like, I need to know enough to be dangerous. I need to know enough to record a great podcast, to be able to clip and it look excellent. But beyond that, I know enough to be dangerous in what I need to. And if I need help, then I have to decide, hey, is that worth my time, or is my time, better spent in other places? So
there's a graph I've seen a lot of people talk about on social media over the years about, like, when you start something new and what you think about it is really high, and then after you kind of get into it, you realize, wow, I don't know anything about this, and then you feel like it's like the pit of despair, and that's when a lot of people quit.
Yeah.
And it's the same with every new thing, but then if you can kind of stick with it, then all of a sudden you do start earning that confidence and that knowledge that you can build off of, and then you can actually start to envision things in your head of what you want it to look like, and then you can actually make it look like that on camera. Yeah, I mean, I experienced that a couple of times in my very first episode with my dad. Both my side cameras cut off 30 minutes or 45 minutes in, and so we had to finish the whole rest of it with the side angle. And then with one of my sisters, I accidentally deleted the close up of her, so we had to use the side the whole time, and I felt really bad about it. But it's just stuff that you figure out, and it's I mean, I'm over 30 episodes in and still kind of figuring out stuff with the cameras and everything. But
yeah, it grows you too.
Oh, absolutely.
It grows you. Sometimes it may take a minute, you need to go cool off, but it
grows you. And it's just like anything else. Like it was the same when I opened up Coyote. It's like, I don't know. I had an MBA. I don't know anything about business.
Right.
Trying to have to figure it out, and any new and worthy endeavor is going to be like that. Well, what were some of the hardest periods or seasons for you in that early process of starting the business?
Figuring out what the structure was like, and a big one, and a lot of people deal with this, is figuring out your worth and your value. Like, can I charge for this? And the answer is yes. And then it's like, well, how much? It's like, how much do you think it's worth? It's like, no, it can't be that. It needs to be how much that your worth is. And so that took me a while. And sometimes I'm even like, when I'm presenting people with pricing, I'm like, this is the value that it is, because this is evergreen content. This is something that you can use today and it doesn't expire. So that is something that I really struggle with. And then, like, is it good enough to where it's funny? It's like, in order to build a brand, you have to be the brand. So you have to record, people have to see you, or else you're just another creative. And so as I'm doing that, I'm like, man, my stuff, I don't feel like my stuff looks great. And it's like, wait a second, if you're shooting stuff for people, but your stuff's not great, why are you charging them? You know what I mean? So it was just a mindset thing. Yeah. And so those are two big things. And then from before I had my first client, I was like, I got to scale this. If it's going to be long lasting, if it's going to be something I can build and make continuing income off of, I got to scale it. And so that was one thing. I was like, what does that look like? And so through just learning, asking questions, and really just, like I said, failing forward, it's like, okay, I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing the pieces, and asking, like, one thing is, like, I believe experience is a good teacher, but I also believe that learned experience from others is the best teacher. Yeah. And so just asking questions and things like that, because I can remember as soon as I was thinking about this, I was like, I need to call somebody. And so I reached out to some, successful people that I know. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. They're like, okay, all right. And even though they're not in that field, they're just supportive to where they'll give me wisdom for that moment or for that conversation. It's like, okay, this is what that looks like.
I was going to ask you what you're doing to kind of grow as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And I've walked in and seen you on calls with other people and stuff like that. How are you finding these people that you're reaching out to? And what other avenues are you using to learn?
Right now it's been conversations. I do use YouTube and things like that. On Instagram now, though, we just kind of everything set up. I have you can archive videos. I have literally multiple archives of grow as a shooter, interview setups, pieces for the studio, lighting setups, and I'm looking at those things, and I'm really trying to control my inputs. And so with that, I'm making sure, like, oh, I need to save this. I'm looking at this, and I'm looked at. There's other creatives in different areas that are doing some of the same thing, but because their market's better, they're able to do. I'm able to learn and go and learn what they're doing, and then I'll routinely reach out to people that I know, even if it's not in my field, but I look at them as successful. There's something about their life that I want to see in mine. I'll reach out to them and just have a conversation, or even do business with them, because I believe that stuff's caught as well as taught. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And then podcasts, I haven't been doing a lot of podcasts, but just even in projects too. Sometimes I just got back from this trip, but even in challenging myself, it's like, hey, I want to create this. How do I do it? So it like drives a sense of urgency to like look at the YouTube, learn to do it, ask the question to the person who's working beside you, and so I feel like I leveled up in my photography this time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
What have you learned about running a business that you that nobody could have told you when you were still at the church?
You have to be built different.
I love that.
It is a conquest. And it is one where you're the man in the arena. There's there are people who are maybe in the same business or the same field of work, but truly you're the man in the arena when it comes to that. And so whether you're a solopreneur doing it by yourself, or you're wanting to scale like I am and you're trying to build a team, and as you all know, having staff and things like that, and having carrying those things, it's you got to be built different for it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make the decision to stick with it.
Mm-hmm. What does Thompson Creative look like now compared to when you first started?
What Thompson Creative looks like now, it was just kind of discovering, trying to figure things out. And what Thompson Creative now is focused, and it's intentional. To where I know what I want to bring, and I'm learning how I want to bring it, and I know how what I want to do for others.
What has building something of your own done to you? How has it changed how you see yourself?
It helped me discover. It made me more confident. It made me more dependent on God, because like I said earlier, man, all this down to this sitting right here, it's not me. And so my success is dependent upon how close I am to Him. And I can learn, I could read a book, I could have a conversation, I could, do all kinds of things, but my success always ties back to that.
Wow. That's awesome. Where are you taking it from here? What's the next step look like for you?
From here, the team grows a little to where it's focused. Like I said, it's not a huge team, but it's a focused team. I'll see clients. I'll have legacy clients who they know what I bring, know what Thompson Creative brings to the table, and we help them see results. We help them achieve what they're trying to. Mm-hmm. I see gear built out a little bit better. some more gear, of course.
Always.
And we see like I said, that scaling. But then there'll be a part where I don't want to just be someone who's gaining. I want to be someone who's giving too. And so there'll be more of that as well. Whether it's having people come on as interns and helping them grow, whether that's supporting, like I said, my friend who's a missionary, supporting them through that as well. But that's what happens.
How many employees do you have now?
It's just me. I have people that I contract out to.
Okay, so you have contractors.
Yeah, I have an assistant. Well, I do have a VA, and then I have some editors. I've recently put out something a few weeks ago, just trying to get a feel out there. I have some people who are interested in contracting with me and things like that.
Cool.
So the goal is to get, like I said, 5 just core people.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about your coaching at Coyote. So you've been a member at Coyote pretty much since we opened, and then even before that, you're at Mississippi CrossFit. What's that community given to you over the years?
Of course, better fitness, and just like it is a community. Just coming from the church background, being able to what that's like, but then even seeing it from a different perspective, and being able to just connect with people from different walks of life, and having different success and things like that. Celebrating progress with people. I believe you get, there's a certain type of closeness that comes when you sweat with people. And then just being able to consistently be in this place where it's like you're in this room for an hour, and you're connecting with people and you're doing life with people intentionally and unintentionally, and being able to see not just their progress or your progress inside of the gym, but being able to see their progress and your progress outside of the gym. Early on, it was like getting into CrossFit. It's like, man, I was not that starter in high school. I wasn't, first string, and then doing like having a church pickup game of basketball or football, or going to play intramural flag football, and just, burning a gallon of post routes. Like, oh, this is awesome. I'm in shape. But then it's like, you know what? Okay, being fit and being the fastest is great, but what's the goal with longevity? And so just realizing like the goals change. It's like, I don't want to be, I want to be able to, I don't have to be the fastest. I just want to be able to outrun my 10-month-old.
So you saw pretty early on that it made you a better athlete.
Oh yeah. It was like, man, if I,
we all have had that experience, right? Wish I would have done this back when I was playing sports.
Right.
You mentioned earlier that one of your 3 cores was being a coach. Where did that come from?
That came from being in children's ministry. I mean, like, they're in a room, there are different roles, right? So it's not just training, it's taking someone from good to great, or taking someone from where they were to where they could be. And so I love being able to help unlock that in people. I'm super passionate about that. And so when it came to fitness, it's like, okay, they come in and they're here, and it's like, okay, by the end of this class, you can help them take their next step. And so just kind of translate it over. So I really feel like if it's something that I feel like I'm well versed in and knowledgeable about, I can help.
What does coaching teach you about people that you couldn't learn just from being a business owner?
To be present, to know that there's more than just not being able to fully extend. That it may be a knowledge thing, but it may be a past injury thing. It may be a lack of mobility thing.
Right.
It's I say it because I'm working on my mobility still, but and in order to know that, I have to be present, and I have to have spent that time learning that about them. That is not, it has to be more than a, hey, that can be so shallow. And a how are you can be so shallow, but really asking it twice, how are you? And just pausing too. That's a super big thing. Another quote that I try to live by is walking slowly. You see throughout the Bible, or throughout his life, Jesus walked slowly through the crowd. You see all the miracles that came from it. And it's like, those weren't like projected moments. It's like, hey, this woman's been sick for years. She's on the stage and Jesus is going to heal her. It's like, no, he was walking slowly. Somebody pulled on him and he turned around and he was able to meet a need. And so I feel like that, just being able to walk slowly as you coach.
Making yourself available.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And just taking the time to look. It's like, hey, it's like, all right, guys, next set, 3, 2, 1. It's like, okay, I can see in their face they're not confident about this, but they could do more. So,
is there a specific coaching win that you've had, or a specific member's progress that you remember over your years coaching at Coyote that really sticks out to you?
So first off, I was first doing the kids classes.
Yeah.
And so early on, like, seeing those kids be able to like box jump, higher than they thought they could, and they're like, man, I can fly. It's like, no, you can box jump a little bit higher, but seeing them be able to do that, teaching the road technique, being tall, and just like seeing people get it. I got to shout out Nikki. She's killer on the rower. And then we had a former member. She's still there. She came from another gym, and so I was like, hey, do you know you do this when you row? And so she said, she's like, no. It's like, and nobody told me that. I'm like, wow, you're making it hard on yourself. Use your legs. So like being able to do that, like those have been pretty big. And then I would say those have been the biggest.
How does showing up for yourself physically affect yourself mentally and spiritually, emotionally?
I can't run my race if I can't run, right? So I gotta be able to do that. That's the foundation for it. And so, just making those choices, because it affects everything. Making the choice to take care of what I've been given, steward what I've been given, it makes a difference.
What do you want the people that you coach to walk away with that has nothing to do with the workout?
I want them to leave their time on a higher level than when they came in. Because whether it's the morning or afternoon, they come in with the preconceived notion of like, all right, it's the workout. Maybe they're excited, but they come in and they may not realize it, like not on E, but just kind of on default. And it's like, hey, once you leave, it's like you got some type of life, you got some type of energy to where it's like, all right, on to the next thing, but with confidence.
I love that. All right. Before we switch gears and talk about your family and all that, I sent you 5 questions to be prepared for. Gave you some homework.
Oh, that's what those were for.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I was supposed to read those. These are 5 questions I ask everybody. First one, what are 2 books that you loved and or had a big impact on you?
Good to Great.
Yeah.
And Atomic Habits. Bonus, Miracle Morning. That was a good one.
What about those books specifically?
With Good to Great, it just kind of showed you other than just not wanting to settle, it kind of showed you had the wheel of like of innovators versus like trends and things like that. And so just that book just broke down different principles and things that I've actually applied and still like live by, that just kind of help with what I'm doing now and what I've done in the past. Atomic Habits, just being able to create that space, making it easy to make the habit happen, whether it's like even as small as like having the tripods set up already, making it as easy as possible, make it part of something you're already doing to be able to see the change and have it done, and how long it really takes a habit to form. Those were 2 big things.
So the Atomic Habits and then also The Power of Habit is another book that I read that really kind of changed the way that I, number one, attack my fitness and everything else in life, but also how I coach and try to help our members. And they were the direct drivers for me, changing our nutrition challenge to the Beachbody Challenge, which is now the Coyote Way Challenge, and changing it brought about tremendous improvement in people's body composition, because instead of focusing on, a lot of things that were, kind of more abstract, like I want to lose X amount of pounds or whatever, it was like, all right, let's actually break this down to what you need to do every single day, day to day and week to week, and like literally give you a checklist to see how accurate you have been, or how, on top of your stuff you've been doing, how compliant you've been. And all of a sudden you break it down to something that was easy and sustainable for them, and they started having tremendous results. And so that's how I always try to think about it with people specifically. It's, let's take this goal where I just want to get healthy and fit, or I want to be able to play with my grandkids, whatever it is they say when they come in. All right, well, let's break that down into what do we need to do on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, and how do we make it, like you said, as easy as possible.
Sure.
Like, go ahead and reserve your spot in class the next day. Go ahead and pack your workout clothes the night before, and go ahead and put it in your car. Just make it part of your routine and a habit. And you and I know once it becomes a habit, it's really hard to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And how do we get as many people as possible to develop that habit of health and fitness? So those are 2 great books, and Atomic Habits is just phenomenal, and I just recommend it for everybody. Second question, what's a piece of advice that really stuck with you?
That one that I mentioned earlier, the people don't care what you know until they know what you care. And like I see that for me when people are trying to speak into my life or speak to me, but also when I'm trying to speak to others, and I see other people do it, and I see how good they are with connecting with people, and it kind of like it drives me to want to be like that, to be that genuine, to be able to be that to make that connection with people. So that was a big one.
What's the hardest season of your life that you're now most grateful for?
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Just that, from my dad transitioning to coming into Thompson Creative, it just, if you told me to write how it looks like from me starting, from that happening to where I am now, and my family, and just the growth that I've seen, and just what I've seen God do, and like I said, what I see that I'm on like the horizon of, I couldn't. And so, like, yeah, that's something I'm really thankful for.
Wow. What's something about you that would surprise people who think they know you?
I'm supposed to have this answer, and it was gonna be that I can dance. But if you're at the 4:30 or 5:30, sometimes the music's going. Like
they see you
try
doing
to motivate them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I'm good with that one.
That you can dance.
Yeah, I can dance.
What's something you used to believe strongly that you've completely changed your mind on?
That proximity and intimacy are the same thing. You can spend years of that everyone is close because of amount of time, but that doesn't equal out. And so with that, I have to make the decision to be intentional with pushing past the surface with people, but I also have to open myself up to be to not be shallow with people as well. I kind of mentioned it earlier. You can tell anyone like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, "I'm good," and keep going. I had that happen one time, and I said, "I'm good." I told someone that I was like, "I'm good. How are you?" And they just kept going. Didn't even like. There's no. It's
response.
like it's a default.
Yeah.
And so that was one, but I had another one that that an amount of time equals effectiveness. It's like, just because you were there doesn't mean you're effective. And it's like you may be the only option, but it's like, I want to make sure that wherever I am, whatever I contribute to, no matter how long I'm there, I'm not there just because I was filling a space, but because I was effective. And so that's something.
You're married with 2 kids now. 3 kids, sorry. 3 kids. Yeah, I had 3 kids.
Yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
How did you and Tab meet?
We met through mutual friends at church.
Okay, at church, yeah.
So we were on we had mutual friends and we kind of hung out, but we went to a youth camp together as leaders. And so I had, she's not here to defend herself, so this is the story. There was like word that she liked me. And so I thought that she was using a middleman. So I don't do that at all, right? Like, let's talk. And so that wasn't true. And then from there, like, we had this team competition in between like the services and stuff. And so I was like, I need to stop, just being cold. Let me be friendly. And so I challenged her to a race. And, it's through an obstacle course. And then from there,
3 kids later.
3 kids later, right?
How long have y'all been married for?
11 years.
Wow. How early on did you know she was the one?
When I first asked her out, I don't believe in wasting time. And I asked her dad for permission. I know, like, we're adults, but it was like, still, I expect the same from my daughters, 100%. So just asking her dad for permission, and we dated for 3 years, and then got married, and here we are 3 kids later.
Wow, that's crazy. What has fatherhood done to thinking about the risks that you took? You kind of brushed on it a little bit earlier, and how does having kids change, your motivation to grow in your business?
It just adds fuel to the fire. As I want to be able to build, I'm huge on legacy. And so with that, being able to provide for them, being able to not just have them grow up in a life where it's like, man, everything was handed to us. It was like, no, this is what our dad did, and this is what it took to get there. Something that I want my kids to be able to say is that, we grew up in a house of faith, but we didn't just Dad wasn't just somebody who just told stories about God, but like we actually got to see God work in our life. We actually got to see us pray for things, and we saw these things happen.
Wow.
And that's what I care about. And so just to be able to, even just as a father, just being able to understand, like, God is my father, but knowing the emotions and the heart and the feelings that I have towards, when I first had Cooper and then Sophie and then Olivia, it's just like, man, if I love my kids this much, and I told Tab this when she had Cooper, I said, man, only there's like only a few things in this world matter. And, it's a very short list.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing to see, and just, I think the title of over the questions was like, it was fatherhood, faith, and legacy. That even I was reading the question, with Olivia right there. I was like, this is all I care about.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I ain't do anything else. That's it.
How are you intentional about passing those things on to them?
Every day. If Cooper were here, if Sophie were here, Olivia can't talk yet, but she knows. We get up every morning, and I speak over them and I pray over them. So much so they can recite it.
Wow.
I have they're called, some people may call them affirmations, but I call them confessions. I just speak that over their life, and it's not only important for me to do it, but for them to hear it. And then daily, there will not be a time where my daughter step out of the house or my son steps out of the house and I know that I affirm who they are. And so, as you can tell, that's my heart.
Yeah. So. What do you want your kids to see when they look at the life that you're building?
That Dad knew God and that God knew Dad. That they saw me present. That they saw my faith. They didn't just hear about it; they saw it, and they have stories of their own. So. And when they're older, and they're doing the same, they're doing the same thing and living out their lives, they're like, man, this is what we've always known. For anyone that they encounter, like, why are you so passionate about it? It's like, what we've always known. And it's not that it wasn't, it's not just something that the scripture says, we didn't just see it with our eyes, or we didn't just hear about it, we saw it with our eyes, and they experienced that. So that's the goal.
What kind of husband are you?
I am a happy husband. Tab and I were like, I was gone, and she was jokingly texting me because I was doing photos and stuff. And she was like, hey, she's like, they know you're married? I said, I'm not just married. I said, I'm happily married.
Yeah.
And she laughed. But man, I am so blessed to be married to her. And I'm a steward, because that's, it's not just Charles Saylor's daughter, that's God's daughter. And so just as much as I am intentional about praying for my kids and speaking over them, it's the same with her. I dropped her off this morning, but so much of, I look at it as so much of what happens in her life and what God does in her life depends upon me. And so I don't play about Tab. Love her, would do it again and again, and yeah, she's amazing.
Someone listening to this that's maybe sitting in a stable job, kind of want to do their own thing, but kind of scared or don't even know where to start, what advice would you give them?
Follow peace. I would definitely pray about it. And if you have a peace about going, the best and stepping out, the best thing you could do is step out. Because you're not being led by your own understanding, your own provision. To do that, of course, use wisdom, get around, have a trusted voice in your life. trusted counsel. But then ultimately, after hearing that, and don't share it with everyone, but after hearing that, you got to follow peace.
That's good stuff. Tyler, man, this was really, really good. Where can people find you and follow what you're doing?
So I'm largely on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
At Thompson Creative, it's Thompson CRTV. It's the word creative without vowels. And then my personal page is Tyler the YG. That's where you'll find all the pictures of my beautiful wife and my family. And then you can find me at Coyote 430-530 if I'm not shooting somewhere.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
What kind of clients are you looking to add to your roster right now?
People who are wanting to be present and show up for Q3 and Q4, super huge. Businesses that are trying to build, of course, anybody trying to update their website and they need consistent content that's excellent, or they need ads that are excellent. People who need to update their website, or if they have an event that they need recapped and need to save that content for future promotions. Yeah.
Is there, I'm just kind of thinking now of all the stuff that you've done. Is there any specific client that you worked with or any shoot that you've done in the last couple of years that really sticks out to you?
Yeah. I got to do the video projects and the videography for John Horn's campaign, and he won.
Yeah.
So being able to be a part of that and to see kind of the ins and outs of that, but just to be called on, because like I said, it's not me, and I've just been doing what I know, putting stuff out there that I do. That was pretty memorable, and I haven't really shared about it, but that's just one thing that stood out. And then just in this CrossFit space, it's like we went from doing it and seeing these guys to be able to shoot, Knowles, and to shoot these athletes, be in the lane, right, and see them doing these things that we watch from afar. And so that one's been pretty recent, but the John Horn campaign was great. And then there have been some other clients too, with Aaron and Adam, shooting that building, that whole process being built from groundbreaking, from clearing trees to them having their first class was pretty special. And so there have been some other clients who they've been trying to tell their story, and I feel like I've really gotten to help them do that. So
that's awesome. Well, Tyler, man, this was so much fun. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.